nowadays. But what about the left? We got you forgot the left was Hitler in Germany, like that. That was the left, the brown shirts and all that.
Wait,
Yeah.
that was the left?
Yes.
Hitler in Germany was the left?
The brown youth, socialists like Russia, Soviet.
And I'm excited to have somebody that is not, of our same ideology on the show for the very first time. For the very first time, we got our man Lambda Man out of the chat last week, and he's going to give us a different perspective. So I'm very interested to see how the show goes, to see the different perspectives on different topics. No filter. We always want to keep it PG for the family, no cursing and stuff, but we want no filter on your opinions. So we're going to see how this goes.
We cannot be a party of political purity. And we cannot have a checklist and expect Democrats in every single state to look like a Democrat from the most liberal district in New York. In the presidential primary, we saw this sort of rush to the left. And a Democrat in West Virginia is going to look different from a Democrat in New York and California and Ohio. And to get more Democratic senators, we're going to need to win states like Pennsylvania. We're going to need to win states like Wisconsin. We're going to need to win states like Ohio. And to win those states, we're going to have to understand that the Democratic candidates are going to be candidates who reflect the values of people in their state and not every ideological group in Washington.
And yet in the time that we...
All right, so I see they got the twisted lips up already. Yeah, tell me what you think about this. This is an ex-Buttigieg advisor.
Oh, I remember.
And talking about how we need to have a big tent and a big tent party day. What you think about that?
No, I remember her, and in fairness to her, she's very crafty at what she does. What I dislike about this statement is not that there isn't a morsel of truth. Like, there is actually a morsel of truth to what she's saying. That being a purist in the sense can be detrimental because not everyone is with us on some of the cultural issues yet, but we should never, take a backseat to fighting for those. But what I don't like about this is that it gives an excuse for Democrats to actually just hide behind corporate backing. And that's not what she's talking about. Like, she's not getting at the fact that we're not upset that people don't agree with every issue. We're upset at the overwhelming influence of corporate money on these politicians' decisions that they make. So candidates like the one that she represented in the presidential campaign, who was getting so much money from the health insurance industry that it was no surprise that they had no interest in getting rid of what's essentially just a mafia middleman in terms of the health insurance industry. And it's no surprise that people like Joe Manchin, who just so happens to have investments into things like coal, etc., have no interest in promoting anything type of green economy. So until she's ready to make that distinction, I felt like what she did was very, very, very weaselly, in my opinion.
Lambda Man, I want to get you what you think about this big tent.
I mean, you were right in being like to not label people extremists because where else they have moral police in Saudi Arabia, and both sides like to think that they're the moral police of America as far as what's right and what's wrong. Like, you can write policy without being the moral police, and in this case they're both being that about abortion, about foreign policy, immigration, benefits, the green energy stuff. I think that's a meme right now at the moment. No one's willing to change their lifestyle. That's another conversation. So she was right in that not to cast people as extremists, because just like there's extremists in the right, there's leftist extremists as well, and until people are ready to acknowledge that, then we're not going to have any collaboration or consensus. So
okay, the only thing I'm going to say about the extremists on the left and on the right, the difference is the extremists with the so-called extremists on the left. We want Medicare for all. We want universal child care for everyone. We want UBI for everybody. Like, the things that we want is actually things that if you poll a lot of them is actually popular in the country versus the extreme right. Wait, hold on. Except the extreme right. They want things that is not popular in the country. Which, go ahead, Lambda Man.
When they say extreme right, they mean the Nazis, KKK.
Exactly.
Like, but that's a stereotype, and that's like a boogie monster. Like, people are so simple nowadays. But what about the left? We got you forgot the left was Hitler in Germany, like that. That was the left, the brown shirts and all that.
Wait, that was the left?
Yeah,
Hitler in Germany was the left.
The brown youth, socialist, like Russia, Soviet Russia. You don't know about that?
That's
That was a
authority.
socialist regime, right? That's
So
the
that's-
extreme. So just like there's extreme to the right, there's extreme to the left. So it's like, why can't we say that both
You're the
sides?
first person I've ever heard call that the left. I've never
It's in
heard
their
that.
freaking name, the Nazi
You
socialist party.
surprised why?
Say it again, John.
Let me
Yeah,
get.
he's like, you're the first person that said that. I'm like, you're surprised why? You're gonna hear a lot of first.
Let me hear what Big Pun got to say on this.
You're gonna hear a lot of first
That's
tonight.
the same thing, John. You're gonna hear the same thing. So maybe open up your ears sometimes.
No,
Go ahead, Big Pun.
to me, again, polarization, right? So this thing where, again, so aside from what Letterman was just talking about, well, I think that the boogeyman, when we talk about extreme left, is always, you want all those things, but you don't have a realistic way of actually getting it. That's the right's position, right? Like, I think that, okay, you want all those things, and then, yeah, we can agree that people should be covered, but how are we going to get there? And I think that there's a lot of those voices on both sides, and until we get to a point where we can actually listen to those voices and then have a solution, to a practical solution to what we all want, if that's what we all want, then we're always going to be this, right? We're always going to think, yeah, oh, those are the crazy Nazis. These are the crazy guys that just want to protest and not solve anything. And I think that we're more of the middle than we are the extreme. But we have to listen to those voices. We're not going to get anywhere, and you actually have to speak to that. You know, there's some validity in having healthcare for all. There's some validity in, all that other stuff. But how are we going to get there? That's another